Hey there, my name's Colin. I'm a new arrival to the city of Los Angeles, and there's a question I'd like to explore today. I'll be honest, and that's a question I never really thought about a whole lot until the past year. I grew up in a very nice suburb in North America, graduated college, and the first thing I could not wait to do once I graduated college, as I never had one growing up, was own a car. But after being exposed to a lot of the information that I'll be sharing in this video, it left me with an idea that I thought I would share with you all today. Should we design Los Angeles for cars, or do we want to design it for people? So let me ask you a question. Where would you rather live? Let's take a look at Oceanfront Walk in Venice Beach. Would you rather live here in a pedestrian-friendly area, or would you rather turn it into a road? Let's look at this nice Venice Beach neighborhood. Would you rather have lots of parking and asphalt, or would you rather have a park going through it? Let's do a final one, the semi-world famous Venice Beach canals. Would you rather have water next to your house, or would you rather have more space for parking and ease of accessibility to the road? There are no right answers, but I would like to make a proposition for you. If you like the car-centric options, in this presentation I'd like to make you aware of the trade-offs that come with that design style. And if you're like me and you don't like the car-centric options, I'm going to give you more reasons to not like them even more. The thesis of this video: Los Angeles is primarily designed for cars and not people. There are trade-offs to that. By prioritizing cars instead of people, we are killing lots of people, we are bankrupting lots of people, and we are also making a lot of people homeless, and we're also not giving them access to green space. Let's explore giving some of this city back to people. So let's get into it. We'll start with point one. By prioritizing cars instead of people, we are killing ourselves. Let's take a look at some graphs. In 2024, more people died from cars than from homicides. Look at 2024, we got a little bit over 300 people dying from cars versus less than 300 dying from homicides. We can even see in 2023 that trend actually switched. Or let's look at another way people die from cars. We kill about 1,300 people annually from bad air quality. Car exhaust and dust from tire wear are the main reasons people are dying from this poor air quality. In addition to killing people, it also costs us tens of billions in dollars lost in lost productivity, sick days, and in general loss of human life. These are not just numbers. A family of 4 was killed after a car ran a red light, killing them all in one big inferno. Orson Bean, a fairly famous actor, was killed when crossing the street after he was hit by one car, knocking him down, and then run over by a second car who did not see him, killing him on the spot. Or even in more recent history, Sergeant Shin Deng was killed on 405 trying to assist a passerby in the early mornings. By prioritizing for cars and not people, we are killing thousands of our neighbors every year. Point number 2. We prioritize the housing of cars over the housing of people. Here's a nice graph. This is the number of parking spaces in LA County. Between 1970 and 2010, 6 million parking spots were added over the span of 50 years. Here's a nice graph on the right that shows the number of housing units, how many people are in Los Angeles City, what the homeless population is over the last 10 years, as well as the house units per person. Over the past 60 years, we've added 500,000 housing units, despite the fact we've added about 1 million people in the time frame. Over the last 10 years, a time span in which LA has gotten better at measuring the homeless population has doubled. Additional facts. For every car in Los Angeles, there are about 3.3 parking spots. Over the same time period, there's been about 0.4 housing units for every person, and that ratio has been the same for the past 60 years. More facts. We also don't build densely. A quarter of Los Angeles surface area is zoned for streets, freeways, and parking, and half of the surface area is zoned for housing. Let's state that another way. For every 2 parking-sized spots of space we dedicate to housing, we dedicate 1 to cars. And of the 2 parking spaces we dedicate to housing, 3/4 of that housing is for single-family houses only. Let's put this all into perspective. On any given decade, we add around 1 million new parking spots, and around that same decade, we are trending to add no more than 10,000 to maybe 100,000 in a good decade housing units. And then we have the audacity to ask why we have so many homeless people. Here are some of those who are being driven out by this car-centric planning. A family of 4 can't afford the rent. Monica Ruse, same story after living in her same unit for 20 years. Former U.S. Marine Damien, driven out and having to live in his car because we have more space dedicated to car housing than people housing. Point number 3. By prioritizing cars instead of people, we are bankrupting ourselves. Individual cost of car ownership averages about $1,000 a month for each of us in Los Angeles. Point number 2, the city cannot afford to maintain its streets. Some numbers to go along with this. Los Angeles has 23,000 miles of streets. Each one of these streets costs anywhere from $500,000 to a few $1,000,000 per mile to pave. After repaving, the street will last about 15 to 25 years before it needs to get repaved again. If we multiply 23,000 by $1,000,000 a mile and divide that by about 20 years, you get a cost of around $1 to $2 billion per year required for the city of Los Angeles to maintain the road infrastructure it has in place. Guess how much it actually spends? About $150 million a year, way under the amount required to keep the roads up to the level of quality they should be for us to drive. This is why about 80% of our roads are in poor condition. Final point about why this is bankrupting us. In order to solve the traffic problem for cars, we think adding another lane solves it. It does not help. In short, this phenomenon is known as induced demand, in which, for car traffic, an additional lane induces more people to drive as they perceive it to be faster, thereby slowing down traffic for everybody as there is now more cars on the road. Quick case in point, I-405, a great example of this in action. In 2015, the last year of a road widening project, these were the average car speeds on 405. After construction was done, data was taken over the subsequent few years to see how car speeds were. Morning travel speeds end up increasing a little bit before going back to what they were before the lane widening project. Evening traffic, average speeds dropped precipitously, going from about 45 miles an hour down to under 30 miles an hour. Widening lanes does not help traffic. It is a waste of $1 billion, and we keep doing it despite the negative, unhelpful results such investment yields. Final point. Los Angeles is a playground for cars, not people. Here's a nice map. It's a map of all the green space in Los Angeles. Here's where most of the people in Los Angeles live. As we can see from the overlay of where everyone lives versus where the parks are, very few people live within walking distance to a green space. This is why, out of many national rankings, Los Angeles ranks in the bottom quartile in terms of park access. Los Angeles is a playground for cars. It is not a playground for people. So let's summarize it all together. As Los Angeles stands, by prioritizing cars instead of people, we are killing people, we are bankrupting people, we are making people homeless, and we are depriving people of green space. So some of you, if you've made it this far in the video, may be asking yourselves, all right, Mr. Smarty Pants, maybe you've convinced me there's a problem here. How do we fix it? Well, lots of ideas from my end. I would like to propose a very simple one. Los Angeles has a lot of space and surface area dedicated to cars. Let's convert that space back into housing, green space, or pedestrian-only zones. If I see a street or I see a parking lot, let's turn it into one of those three. Los Angeles has a history of doing and/or is in the progress of making moves to do such transformations. The Laurel, a housing complex built on top of an old parking spot. Stoker Plaza Park, a conversion of an old street into a park that is underway in terms of the planning process. Crypto.com Arena, the road, Chick Hearn Court, outside of it is now being converted into a plaza for people to hang out at while they're waiting to get into an event. And this is not the first time such a city would have undergone such a transformation. In the 1970s, during the oil crisis, Amsterdam had an incredibly high density of cars. If you look back at their old photos, you can actually even see some of the smog created by cars. When the oil crisis came, it became too expensive to maintain the car infrastructure, so they pushed a big effort to make the place more friendly to pedestrians, bicycles, and public transportation, and now Amsterdam looks like the Amsterdam it does today. Copenhagen in the 1960s. Many of the roads were dedicated to cars. Again, the oil crisis struck. They realized car infrastructure was too expensive, so they converted a lot of the roads into the walkable, very pedestrian-friendly area that you see today. Number 3, Paris in the 2000s. Many roads were dedicated to car infrastructure. In the last couple of decades, it has undergone a massive transformation into a pedestrian and cycling friendly place that now has created the urban landscape it has today. And it's not even just Europe. Santa Monica has undergone such a transformation through the 3rd Street Promenade. In the 1950s, the 3rd Street Promenade was a roadway for cars. Now they've converted it into a pedestrian place where people can walk, shop, dine, and overall enjoy an outdoor experience without having to worry about getting run over or breathe in someone's diesel fuel. Here are some ideas for streets that could even see such a conversion project. Here's a random side street in Venice Beach that doesn't really have a whole lot of cars going through it and really doesn't have a whole lot of cars parking on it. Look at this. We can turn it into a park. We can put apartment units on it. We can convert it into something that people can live in and people can use and enjoy. Another example, look at this road. We could narrow the road so the cars could still go through, but on the other half of the road, you can put housing units so you have a much more narrow looking street like you see in many parts of Europe. Let's say you just don't want new neighbors. You go, I just don't like new houses. I like my little area. Fine. Let's take a look at your suburban block. You could have it as a place for parking, or you could turn it into a park where your kids and neighbors could all go walk and enjoy the area. Additional benefits are ideas of places to focus on. There are many roads and many parking lots in Los Angeles that don't see a whole lot of use. Those are easy targets for this conversion. Not only that, but if you look at converting areas in which there's a lot of pedestrian traffic mixing in with car traffic, and you remove the car traffic and turn it into a pedestrian-only area, businesses see a huge increase in consumer activity. This is one of the major findings that was reported by Bloomberg, found in many cities that during COVID converted their streets into public spaces. Those spaces saw massive increases in business. So the call to action, look around you. LA is a car paradise and a pedestrian hell. Look at the roads, look at the parking lots you can see everywhere. Ask yourself, is this parking lot, is this street, could we convert it to a park? Could I convert it to housing? Or maybe I could just close the road so it's a place that I could safely walk around with my kids and my friends and my family. Once you've identified those areas, push your elected officials to make this transformation a priority. If they don't, vote them out and vote somebody in who will make this a priority. Los Angeles has so much space dedicated to road infrastructure that it can't maintain, that there is so much potential for this city to become a place that is a massive opportunity for housing, for green space, for a collective place that we can all share. But we all need to make this a priority, and we need to elect people who make this a priority and hold those people accountable. So, if you have made it to the end of the video and you would like to learn more about how you do it, here's some great links, some great organizations to go click, check out that are pushing for such transformations. Let's not design Los Angeles for cars. Let's design Los Angeles for people.